Paul Stater was the stunt coordinator, and he knew people on Star Trek, and they were looking for someone to play in the Cage, which was the original pilot. And they wanted them to be Talosians, where they had these costumes on with heads and stuff. And so they sent me over, and I got that job. So it was kind of at the same time I was doing Lost in Space. They just didn't need me that week, so they sent me over to do the other show. And that's how I did the first Star Trek. I didn't have to audition. Paul Stater just said, you're going to go do this. So I did, because I could work in the costumes, and the latex and the stuff doesn't bother me. Some people are allergic to it, and they break out. So they couldn't, but I got to do, I got to be the Talosian, which is an interesting show, The Cage, because it's so different today than it was then. Basically, these people talk, mental telepathy. You could see their brains, and you could see their veins in their heads pumping when they would talk. What they did is they had the tubes in the head, and they had them running down your arm to an air ball in your hand. And so when you talked, you'd push the air ball and make the veins pump. So if you look at the costumes, they had very long sleeves on these costumes so that we could hide the fact that we were pumping these things. Where today, they would have a special effects guy, on the other side of the room making the veins move.
So when you're shooting a scene as this alien, and it was time for you to communicate, you would press the ball depending on what, was someone reading the dialogue off
they'd have a dialogue
camera?
coach reading the dialogue,
Okay.
and you would press it in timing with what he was saying. So if he was talking, you'd kind of push the way he was talking, and then if he'd stop, you wouldn't push anymore. So it would pump kind of like, he was talking.
Being a dancer, did that have something to do with you? How did that help you in terms of being in a costume?
That particular costume, it didn't make a lot of difference. It was because it was the latex and stuff, and Paul knew that I could wear latex without breaking out. Some people would break out from the stuff that they would use. So that particular incident was more the fact that I could wear the costume and, pay attention. So that one was pretty simple when it came to that. Gene Roddenberry was on the set 24/7. I mean, I have actually a picture of him and the three of us, aliens, and him talking to us, telling us what to do. So yeah, he was amazing, amazing man. It was just crazy. He was so far beyond his time with the shows, and it didn't sell. The Cage didn't sell. And later, they remade it into the Menagerie, which they aired. They took parts of it and put it into the Menagerie and aired it that way. But the first show that aired was Man Trap, which was the one I got to play the salt vampire. And that one, Paul got me also. And that one, actually, the dancing helped because I had to fall and hit the ground and do, that was part of my coordination and my timing and stuff was, on that one. So that was cool.